Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of the day it is where you're at in the world right now. This is going to be a video about eggs and not just how difficult it is for people to learn new skills, especially at an older age. And whatever your age is and whatever your experience is, I wish that you know that you're not a bad cook because you haven't started cooking up until this point in your life. You can just try along with me and see how it goes. And just because it's a common thing for people to say that I suck at cooking, I can't even boil an egg, this is the exact reason why I chose eggs first. This is something that we are conditioned to believe, that we're incapable of certain things, cooking including, and maybe you have convinced yourself that, you suck at it. And my intention is to prove to you that you're wrong. Her intention is to prove to you that you're wrong. She's gonna be crying along with us in the process. You will see her. Her name is Egwene. She's a good girl. She's not mine. I rescued her, and I am just taking care of her until her parents come from London. So try along with me and maybe you succeed. Try along with us and maybe you succeed. I'm going to split this video in many parts depending on what type of egg you want to do and how you want it cooked. I'm going to use more than one egg since I'm demonstrating various ways of frying with and without oil. I get eggs from local markets where they typically sell vegetables, fruits, eggs, fish, that type of thing. I strongly recommend that you try and find good quality eggs from chickens that are fed and treated well. However, I do not suggest that you buy the priciest of eggs from the beginning if you are somebody who doesn't have an experience in the kitchen. The most likely is that you're going to fail when you try something for the first time, so you better first learn how to break an egg the correct way, then learn how to cook them properly, and then you can buy the greatest quality of products for you to use in your everyday life. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of vessels, and starting off by handling the frying pan, which will be used in this video. This is a Rotisserie 24, if I'm not mistaken, centimeter pan from Fiscus. This is one of my favorite frying pans in the world, even though it is a non-stick pan, and I'm not a great proponent of non-stick pans. My personal opinion is that in a way I consider that they are more wasteful because they're not sustainable for long periods of time. No matter how good a non-stick pan, like this one is a phenomenal non-stick pan, still it's gonna eventually lose the non-stick coating and will need to be replaced, which I hate, that you have to throw away a pan after 1 or 2 years. However, I do understand the necessity for non-stick pans to exist for a couple of dishes. Eggs is not one of them, so I am going to demonstrate it in non-stick pan because I know a lot of people have it, but you definitely need to use wooden or plastic or silicone spatulas when handling them. So here you can see it's starting to get a little rough around the edges, literally around the edges, and having some scratches on the surface. Nothing major in a way that I would just throw it away. Not that concerning, but it doesn't look its best. This one is an oval stainless steel roasting pan. It has a glass lid, which I love because it gives it the versatility of starting off a meal in an electric burner, then finishing it off in the oven. It is from Lidl, if I'm not mistaken. Ernesto was the brand, and it has lasted with us for over 5 years, I think. It's an extremely useful cookware. I'm finally going to be using a coffee pot that we typically use to make coffee, but you can also use to boil an egg. This is Egwene. You just met her, I think. Yep, you did. And she's a pretty phenomenal girl, but she will not stop crying for a minute, hence I had to voice over everything.
Girl,
Can I continue on? Thank you. Thank you. Don't cry while I do this. I'm gonna have to voice over everything. Betsy did, and I did voice over everything. Now you see me checking the heat over the pan, and I want to demonstrate the easiest way to break an egg. For me, if you're a beginner, you have to start off by breaking the eggs in a bowl because you don't want to have the extra anxiety of breaking something on top of a heat source. So you want to knock it horizontally, as you see it here, on its longer surface, quite strongly, enough for you to hear the sound that I'm making, and then place your fingers, both of them in between, and crack it open. That's what you want to do. If you break the yolk or anything goes wrong, you can just redo it. I here just dropped a piece of an egg cell in order to show how to remove it. I typically use my fingers because they're less slippery than a spoon. Just grab it with the tip of your finger and slide it upwards within the bowl. Obviously, I had to mute the video because Egwene wouldn't stop crying even for a minute. I am frying the egg without any oil in this particular case, which I wouldn't advise in a pan that has a couple of years of use in it. However, I will demonstrate that when you use something that is non-stick for a couple of years, the most likely scenario is that will start losing the non-stick properties. I am going to help it by covering it with a lid, which will create steam. And I'm checking it to make sure that it's unstuck. In the first year of having this pan, I kid you not, you would just slide the egg on top of the surface. It would just move freely without you having to use any oil on top of it, which is one of the reasons why I consider it a very, very good non-stick pan. I am trying to gently remove its bottom surface from the pan, which is not very easy because, as I said, I used not even a drop of oil. I'm trying to be gentle with it, but you can't always predict the future. For example, here, if you're just being a little too rough, the most likely scenario is that you would break the yolk and it would spread on the surface of the pan. So you want to be gentle in general with eggs. I do suggest for beginners to use bigger spatulas. Again, only use wooden or silicone spatulas. As you can see, the yolk has changed color a little bit, which means that it's probably about to overcook for my liking. So I am removing it. However, you do see that there is some remnants of the egg on the surface on the pan, which is the exact reason why I'm saying it's starting to get a bit old. Not in a sense, again, not in the sense that I will throw this away anytime soon. I'm just using a tiny drop of oil to help it. Here, what I wanted to do is demonstrate what a perfect non-stick pan, it's a foul one, this was, what a perfect non-stick pan will do after a year of use. What it will do is that it can't exactly distribute the heat properly because it has lost some of its coating. So you can see in this case the egg that is closer to the center of the pan is starting to get burnt. It's not something that takes a long time. You can see it's already getting burnt. And it's not something that you can control by putting more oil on it. So I would consider this pan at this stage to be on the verge of needing to be thrown away, which is very wasteful, I know, which is a reason again why I don't prefer non-stick cookware, but you know, what can you do? They're necessary for certain people. I don't like that the egg has
already gotten burned. I don't think it's salvageable at this point. I am going to try and remove it, but you will see it being torn into pieces. I don't think you can do much at this point. In general, I would suggest that you invest in a good stainless steel pan. Especially if you are a beginner, you want to learn the basics before anything else. And non-stick, even though they're considered the easy choice, I don't think it is what people think it to be. I think it is difficult to know when you have to throw it away for your health and safety. I think that you should first learn how to handle a very easy pan, like a stainless steel pan that you can just scrub to clean it, because non-stick needs specific way of cleaning them, very gentle, very careful, in order for them to last for a long period of time. Not everybody has that kind of money. I'm just showing you the discoloration that I was talking about that suggests that you should probably throw this pan away. And now in the end, I'm going to use about half a cup of oil. You need to use vegetable oil or something that has a higher smoking point. So I'm using extra virgin olive oil, but you could use, for example, coconut oil. Anything that you have available in the kitchen that you know will endure the heat, you can use. Butter obviously is a good choice. You need to be very careful when placing something on top of frying oil. You need to be really close to the surface and not drop it from afar, because you don't want to splash yourself. With boiling water, yes, you can burn yourself, but the burn will be more predictable. It will come around the surface of the pan, where your hands are, if you drop it where your feet are at. But oil, I think it's a very sneaky thing, so you need to be extra careful. And you need to be extra careful on how long you leave it. For example, you see here, it's been about half a minute that I'm overcooking this, and it's already starting getting burnt, so you need to be very fast. You can see that the yolk has already started getting white in certain areas, which means that it's pretty cooked, and you can remove it at this point. Also, a side note, extremely important to mention, when you cook something and you fry it, you never want it to be covered with a lid, because that will create steam, which when you remove the lid will turn into water droplets, which will fall into the oil, and that will get you even bigger of a splash. So you never want to cover something when there is a lot of oil on the pan and you're frying it. That can be very dangerous.
So this was it. I'm not sure how difficult you found the process to be, but I'm pretty sure it definitely did not seem as difficult as you thought it would be when you were imagining yourself in the kitchen. I hope that you tried along with me the entire cooking process, but if you didn't and you just watched this video as a reference of you trying to do this in the future, I just want you to say that failure is a part of the process. You doing something wrong is not problematic at all. It's a normal thing to do. If you fail once, twice, even 10 times, however many times you fail, it does not matter. What matters is that you persist, is that you try again and again until you please yourself. And I'm not saying that as a motivation. It's not something I'm motivating you to do. It's something that I know you can do. Anybody can cook, including you. So really do believe in that and try. Until next time, bye.